loud and clear. All right. We are here for another episode of Choose Your Path. Yay!
Hey,
Excel, you're here. Wow, that's some light. That's some really dope light that you
is it?
got. Yeah.
I was looking for it too. I was like going all over the place trying to look for some good light.
Wow, that's some awesome. You can hear me now? Okay,
I can
great.
hear
We're
you.
on. You can hear me? All right, awesome.
Yeah.
I have a really dope light too, but I don't want to move my camera because I finally get it in a position.
You know what?
And
This is straight sunlight.
that is so, wow, that is so cool. I got fake sunlight in the back. We were talking about it yesterday. She was like, this is like the little backdrop. I was like, me too. I had this backdrop, right? When I was
Uh-huh.
on Facebook, and they were like, you need to put your mask on because you're gonna get sick. And I'm like, I'm not outside. I'm sitting in the living room. That is
Right.
so funny. But I guess we could go ahead and get started because we already have some guests on here. Hey, DJ Magic J, what's going on? Thank you guys for coming in. I am so excited about this conversation because I want to know everything about you. I want to know the cologne you wear. I want to know the car
Ooh,
you drive. I want to
oh,
know your
the
credit
cologne that
score.
I wear. Oh my God.
I want to know the credit score. I want to know everything about you. No, I'm
Ooh,
just
wow.
joking. But I am definitely, hi Miriam. I am definitely looking forward to this conversation because we have been really good friends probably most of the time that I have started this whole PR thing. So this is really dope for me. So thank you so
It's not all
much.
the time. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for chiming in. Mm.
What does that cup say?
Oh, do you want to know? Oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
so excited that you want to know. Be the girl who decided to go for it.
Mm,
That really
powerful.
speaks out to me because when we first met, I was
Right.
in a really, really bad situation, right?
Hmm.
And you never treated me any differently than you treat me right now to this date. And I think that was like 10 years ago. That was a while ago.
It was a while. It probably, yeah, probably close to 10 years. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a while
if
ago.
not.
And you never treated me any differently than that. So I said,
No.
wow, let me start these conversations so I don't lose my mind during this pandemic. I can
Yeah.
also be inspired. I can help somebody else, hopefully, right? And bring on some of my friends that we have, the really dope conversations outside of audience. Why not
Right, right.
bring it to an audience and just like hopefully someone can hear one thing that may, help them on at least one more day. Maybe they may feel like giving up. Maybe they're going through grief during this time because there's a lot of people that are like really dying and getting really sick during this time. So it's so
Yes.
many, I don't know, it's so many things that's going on at one time right now. But I just want to be like that ray of sunshine, a little light, you
Well,
know.
you are that Ray
So
every morning.
oh, I know, right? Aw. Let's talk about maybe some things that I don't know because we don't talk about business a lot.
What don't you know? What
Yeah.
what
Uh,
do you want to know that you don't know?
okay, maybe my friends on here don't know.
Okay.
Where are you originally? Talk about where you're originally from.
I am from Hollis, Queens, born and raised in Hollis, Queens.
Uh-huh.
Home of the Kings, Run DMC, LL Cool J. I basically grew up seeing them on a daily basis. So, seeing them was really like nothing to me when, people all over the world was going crazy over them. I see them and it was just like, okay, hey, how you doing? See you tomorrow.
Right. Like
Right.
every day. I put choreographer on my flyer, but
Uh-huh.
you also have a background as being a celebrity barber. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Yes.
My memory serves me
Celebrity,
correctly.
celebrity master barber for over
Celebrity
30 years.
master barber. Yes, I should have never left that
Hmm.
word out. That word is so powerful. Like, that is so cool. I was talking to a good friend of mine, Lila Brown, and they named her master of PR. And I'm like, that is so huge. Like, when you put
Yeah.
master in front of it, it means that you went through some stuff to
Uh-huh.
get to that point where you now can carry that title as being master. So that's really cool. How was that?
Right. Um,
doing that
just what in that field?
in that field? Yeah.
Oh man, it's amazing. I mean, at the age of 15, my father, I kind of tricked my father into buying my first set of clippers. And since then, it's taken me places that I would have never thought that, I would have gone. I've cut people's hair that I never thought that I would have cut, I would have been, connected to. Um, and literally, it's funny because I make money with my feet, with
Uh-huh.
dancing, and with my hands, with cutting hair.
That is
That's
right. And that's exactly why I want you to paint that picture, because I think that is a beautiful thing. I pulled up because I didn't want to miss not one word.
hmm
The definition of a choreographer, it works directly with the dancers, right? To
uh-huh.
interpret and develop ideas and transform them into a finished performance.
Yes,
Wow. That
yes.
is so beautiful.
I mean, I what I always say is, with being a choreographer, the definition that you gave is, puts it into words exactly. But I tell a lot of people that there's so much that goes into being a choreographer, that sometimes you might need to take a psychology class, because you're dealing with so many different, personalities and things like that, and you also have to keep yourself centered and keep yourself at level, to accomplish some of the choreography that comes out of our minds. It's just amazing. The levels
Wow.
that we go through. Yeah.
Let me take me into that world a little bit. Like, what does that
hmm
look like when you walk into the dance studio from the beginning to the end of a piece? Can you like describe that for me?
Oh, most definitely. So I mean, a lot of times when I'm doing choreography, um, and if I'm working with an artist or even if I'm just teaching a class, a lot of times I'm really in a zone. People may think that I'm there with them,
Right.
because I'm I'm connecting with them on one level, but I'm really thinking about the song that I'm going to choreograph, the energy that I'm
Hmm.
going to give when I get in that room, and the vibe that I want to project when doing choreography. I mean, it's it's just it's so many levels that we go through, that I've gone through, with doing choreography. I love teaching and going into that studio and getting with kids, with dancers that are hungry for the knowledge that I have for over the past 30 years, and the places that I've been, and just with the genre of hip hop, a
Hmm.
lot of the kids grasp on to just that genre, and then once I give them, as I call it, once I start feeding them, they leave an hour and a half later, they end up full.
Oh, wow. And you've taken that on to teaching as well, which is a beautiful
Yes,
thing. So you get to constantly plant those seeds into the young people, which is so
definitely.
amazing.
Yeah.
You work with Heavy D. Tell me about that.
Have Have was the biggest artist that I've ever worked with, and I mean it was my favorite artist to work with. It was amazing. I actually almost didn't get the job. Um, Big Les, everybody knows Big Les from Rap City. She was the choreographer, one of the choreographers, and you know, they were going back and forth through a couple of different dances, and then at the last minute they gave me a call. I just woke up, probably about 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and they was like, yeah, you're going on tour. They took us to LA. We spent a time in LA, about 2 weeks in LA rehearsing, and
Hmm.
then we did some did some shows and went on the tour, and it was the most amazing time in my life. It's the first time that I was on a plane. You know, I mean, limos came to pick us up. I was
Oh,
19.
wow.
I was 19 years old, and I was living a life out there. And I mean, Hev was just, he was just such like a mild mannered dude. You know what I'm saying? A lot of what people say about him, like the love part
Mm.
of it, that really was him, man. That really was him.
Wow, because I was watching a documentary and I said, man, this guy seemed like he was an amazing person
Yeah.
just outside, outside of his music. Because sometimes people put those together. I was watching something, I don't know what it was, but there are two different I am what I do kind of thing. Like
Uh-huh.
what I do is totally different from who I actually am.
Right, right,
I
right.
when
Me
I
too.
watched like yesterday, yesterday I was talking to Miriam Hicks from The Shy, and
Yeah.
because I really wanted to meet her because her character was so strong and so powerful, and she really played that part. But I
Uh-huh.
really wanted to know who the real person was. I know somewhere in there she put a drop of herself in there, but it's
Mm-hmm.
her character. You know what I mean? Like she really embodied it. When someone puts their whole soul and being into something that they love to do, I
Right.
love to be around those kind of people. And you're that. Like that's what you do. Like
Yeah.
all, the whole time I've known you, you've done what you love to do, and that definitely has inspired me. I didn't know that I was going to end up in music. That
Uh-huh.
wasn't the plan at all. Like I worked as an EMT for 15 years. I've been in healthcare pretty much most of my adult life, and
Right.
entertainment was not one of those things. But I somehow got in touch with Dave Tolliver online on social
Right.
media,
I remember.
and I started working with him for right, see, so long. And so I started working with him for about, I don't know, maybe it was about a year, something like that. And I'm like, I was hungry and ready. Like I want to do more things. And
Mm-hmm.
I started my own business, and then I started working with Grammy winning producer Focus, and then it just. But I was calling you like, hey, I'm working
Uh-huh.
with, and you're like, what? Where did this come from? How did you
Right.
do that?
Right.
Like what? Where does that? How did that happen?
All from that one day on Jamaica Avenue in the food store.
Right, exactly. I mean, when I say taking a risk and jumping out of the window, I definitely did that. I wanted something different than where I was from.
Hmm.
I, I just wanted to start over into a fresh place. So I literally got up and left from Cleveland, Ohio, and I've been here on the East Coast, and that was 14 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I know,
Amazing.
right?
Amazing. Yeah.
So take me into like your childhood. I know,
Ooh.
you let me like when did you notice your purpose? Like how old were you?
Yeah. I think I probably was around 7, 8 years old. 7, 8 years old. When it comes to dancing, yeah, about 7, 8 years old. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Everybody always asks me, well, what got you into dancing? And they expect me to say, oh, I saw some big show, and they expect me to say, some crazy stuff like that.
Right.
No, no, that's not what got me into dancing. What got me into dancing was girls.
The
That's what got me. Yeah, that's
girls.
it. At a young age, real talk, not on some nasty craziness,
Right. No,
but
just to be around that
yeah,
energy.
it
Yeah.
was like at an early age, I figured out that girls like guys that can dance.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
even at that age, I wanted girls to like me. So I would dance, and that's where it came from. That's where the inspiration came from. It was girls. Had nothing to do with you know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Michael Jackson. I love
Yeah.
Prince. I love the Nicholas brothers. I love all of them. But that's not what started me to dance. Girls started me to
Wow.
dance.
I think that's a good motivator,
Oh yeah,
right?
that's a great motivator.
So how are you doing now, like during this COVID? Like how are things?
During COVID, it's I mean, God bless those that lost their lives and had COVID. And my prayers go out to everyone that had to deal with that. I mean,
Mm.
even my younger brother and his wife, they had COVID. Um,
Oh,
but COVID has actually surprisingly been a blessing for me. Just the time off, to be honest, that time off that we had to just pull away from everything. I mean, They were at one time we had nothing to do.
Right.
You know, no work, no job, nothing. Just sit home and stay. You
Relax.
know, yeah, relax, stay in the bed, watch TV all day, and we had it was a good long time, and you know, it was a real blessing for me that you know I look back on it and I'm like, you know what, God does things for a reason. You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, as far as my life, he shut things down for a reason. And, you know, things was going kind of crazy for me. Things was going kind of crazy for me. So, yeah, that's where I'm at now.
What do you enjoy outside of dance?
Oh, I like traveling. I like wine. Like, I go to like different wine events all over the, you know, the country. Um, you know, I guess I can say I like drinking. Um, you know, but drink responsible.
Right, right, of course, of course. There's nothing
Um,
wrong with wine and travel.
right, right. You know, yeah, that's what I enjoy doing. You know, hanging out with my daughter, and yeah, that's what I enjoy doing.
I I'm still I don't know, I'm still hanging on the fence with what the creative process looks like
The creative process with what?
for
With
you. Like when
what's?
you like I'll say for me,
Mm-hmm.
just my experience and what I do. The creative process for me when I want to work with someone, especially when it comes to music, is for me
Mm-hmm.
to, I pretty much have to shut off the world, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
then I
yeah.
tune right into just the music because I want to hear their sounds. I want to get a sense of who they are through their music before I actually get to know
Oh,
them, right?
okay.
So I
Yeah,
just want to
definitely.
look at, I want to kind of understand. Sometimes we can understand what a person does when you paint that picture for them. So I
Right.
just want a picture, a little small frame picture of that creative process. Like really take me in there. I want to, it's almost like I'm walking behind you and you're like walking me into your gallery. Can you do that for
Well,
me?
you know, you wouldn't be walking behind me. You'll be.
But you know what I'm
No, no, this.
saying.
Yeah, yeah. This is the creative process because the person would be sitting in the passenger seat in my car.
Got
So
it.
whenever if I'm teaching a class or if I'm working with an artist, I take that song and I'm listening to that song back to back to back to back, and the person I mean to the point to the person in the passenger seat is like, is he going to rewind this song again for the 50 millionth
Yeah.
time? You know, so I really delve into the song, into whatever I'm choreographing to. I'm listening to the song probably hundreds of times, probably for a couple of days, and you know, listening to all the different accents and different flows, of the song. Also, translating those words into physical movement. Um, and I'm doing that stuff while I'm in the car. So I'm moving, I'm driving, I'm like this, but then I'm like, yeah, you know, it's crazy. Like looking at somebody driving past me next to me and looking in my window, they're like,
Yeah.
yo, what is this dude doing, yo? So, you know, that's the beginning process, you know, of when I'm doing choreography. And then once, like I said before, once I get in the studio, it's all, you know, we going forward. And I'm like, I'm there, but I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? I like really go off into my own area. You know what
Uh,
I'm saying? Like mentally, and I'm just spitting out because a lot of times I'm like my flow is more like Biggie's flow, just in the dance room. Like
right.
I don't sit there and choreograph something and say, all right, we're going to do this. I don't sit there and do that. I just go in
Mm,
the studio and I go right off the top of my head. Whatever I'm feeling, I go off the energy of my dancers around me. Um, and I go straight off the top of my head, and
mm.
that's how it's been working for the past. I've been I've been solely teaching classes for the past 20 years. I've been dancing for 35. Yeah, danced for 35 years, and just straight up to teaching classes and choreography for the last 20 years.
Wow. Thank you so much for that picture because now I can really get it.
Yeah,
That is a very beautiful picture that you painted. How do you
right.
decide on the song selection? How does that go?
Um, if I'm teaching,
Mm-hmm.
it goes by the energy of, what I'm feeling that day. What I'm feeling that day. I mean, we're dancers. We wear our hearts on our sleeve. We're artists. We wear our hearts on our sleeve. So, you know, if I'm feeling like a thug that day, I'm going and I'm getting some red and meth. You know what I'm saying? Or if I'm feeling, if I'm feeling kind of emotional that day, or kind of loving, I might get some Usher. You know what I'm saying? Some Neo. You know, I might choreograph something to one of them. Or if I'm feeling like real snappy, one day, I might go get some Nelly, or what I'm saying, somebody like that. I love my '90s music. You know what I'm saying? And every once in a while, I'm not gonna hold it. Every once in a while, I'll get some Beyonce. What I'm saying, somebody like that in there. I get my little sass on, but I just let the ladies do the
Let the
sass.
ladies do the
I'll
ladies.
I'll choreograph it, but then now the dancers have to interpret, that. So, yeah,
Right, exactly,
right.
because you're the one that, you put the
I paint
painting
that picture
purpose
for you. Yeah,
on the canvas and you go
right.
ahead and yeah, got it. That is so dope. How is there something, not how, was there something ever in a time in your life where you felt like I don't know, like you kind of doubt whether or not you were going to make it through?
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Lots of times. I could actually say, there were three times where I was like, one was when my mother died in my arms. You know, um, my mom's died. I was like, all right, well, might as well just go ahead and do something else. But it kept calling me. You know what I'm saying? Dancing kept calling me like a drug. And then the next time was when I got a divorce. I had to figure things out. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's a new life. Um, so I had to figure things out then. And then the next one was most recently, when my dad passed away 3 years ago, and from there, once again, now my parents are gone, and it's all on me. I mean, I can't even go to dad anymore and say, "Yo, Pop, let me get $5." You know what I'm saying? Or even that advice. You know what I'm saying? I can't even do that, anymore. And
Yeah.
it was like, all right, do I continue to go on with this career that goes up and down, or
Mm.
do I just go and get a job? I mean, I'm not knocking anybody else that has a 9 to 5, but it just wasn't for me. And even my dad told me that he knew 9 to 5 wasn't for me, you know. But
God, you made me
he
sit
kept.
all the way up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to like cut you off, but I was like way on the screen, like way in. As soon as you started talking, because my heart was like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But no,
I
that my dad, he, when he passed away, I was like, all right, well, it's all on me. I have to make it happen. I have to make it happen, and if I don't have anybody
uh,
to get that advice from anymore. You know, and it took some time. It took some time, but out of the blue, things blossomed, and wow, it,
wow.
it's taking its own course.
What would you say to someone who goes through maybe not your situation, but similar situations, where they don't feel as if they know how or they can't get out? I see people sometimes and they're living the same life over and over and over each year,
Uh
never
huh.
really evolving, just living the same. And sometimes I'll often wonder, do they know the information? Sometimes people don't know, or maybe
Hmm.
sometimes people don't really care to even go through what it takes to actually get to that next level, right?
Right.
How do
Right.
you, but we're going to talk to the person who actually has something inside of them but they're not sure. What would you tell them? Because I
Um,
think that you just go through things so gracefully. Not to say that you don't go through pain and you don't cry,
yeah.
but you know, for me on the outside looking in, I'm like, wow, this guy is truly a warrior. Like you just, I just don't ever hear you complain about a thing. You just go straight to the solution.
Well, yeah, that's the one thing. I mean, what is complaining going to do? Complaining is not going to do nothing but allow the air to hear your voice,
Yeah.
and that's about it. You know, and then complaining. Then on top of that, if you're complaining to someone,
Mm-hmm.
if you're complaining to someone that isn't going to help you, then once again, it's really for no reason. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you know, but I mean, personally, what it is with me is I have this I have this thing inside of me that it's gotta happen. You know, I worked for Reverend Run for a little while, and
Right.
he was just on it like, yo, listen, and this was before, you know, Fat Farm sneakers and
Okay,
people
take us
saw him on the
back.
back of the bus. This was before that, and
Okay.
you know, I was working with him, and yo, Rev is crazy because Rev was in a time at that for he was in a time, and he was doing so much stuff, and he was not letting it die. He was like, yo, I'm gonna go forward. I'm gonna create something. I'm gonna create something and make it happen. I'm gonna create something else and I'm gonna make it happen. And it might not work, but I'm gonna create something else and make it
Right.
happen. You know. So my thing was I gotta
Mm-hmm.
continuously create, because if I continuously create something, something's gonna hit.
Something's definitely
Something's
gonna
gonna
hit.
hit. You know what I mean? You know, one of my well, we might jump into this. You let me know. But
Go ahead.
one of my customers, you know, that whose hair I used to cut,
Uh-huh.
is one of the owners of Fubu. You
Okay.
know, and I mean, a lot of people think that Fubu is whatever. No, Fubu is doing a lot. Fubu is doing a lot
Still
behind the scenes
right
still.
now, to this day. Right.
And you know, my boy Carlton, yo, he just does so much, and it's so many things that he just does, and he's like, yo, it's gotta hit, you know, and that's exactly what I do. I'll create it, you know, I create choreography, gotta hit. I'll create a clothing line, gotta hit. I'll create a dance piece, gotta hit. I'll do, you know, concept videos. They gotta hit. You know what I'm saying? Something's gotta go. I mean, even now where you see me sitting, and you know, we'll get into it, but
Okay.
this where I'm sitting at right now, I was like, I gotta create something to, oh wow, it's thunder and lightning out here. Okay. Um
Oh, might be coming our way later.
right. But yeah, you know, I had to create this bus that you know, I cut hair on, and it's got to hit. Something's got to happen.
That's the buzz?
This is the bus.
No way. With the
This is the
lights
bus.
on it already?
That's the bus. So yeah. So that's my little stand. That's the lights. You know, I basically what I did, what my vision was to have a mobile barbershop.
Uh-huh.
You know, and you know, once again, when I left my after my dad passed and I left his house, you know, I always had my dad's house to cut hair in, but now I needed someplace else to cut, you know, and I didn't want to go in a barbershop because barbershops, it took too much time out of my life
Oh,
to do
yeah.
choreography and stuff. So I said I needed to be mobile so I can go cut whoever I needed to cut, and still be able to get around,
That's a
you know,
really
if I
dope
needed to dance.
idea.
So, you know, I created the bus. I went out and I brought a short school bus. I gutted the whole thing out, and I built a barbershop inside of it. And, you know,
And
I'm
there it
just going from
is.
there. Yeah, there it is. I mean,
I remember the idea over
yeah,
the phone, right?
yeah,
Hearing it. And then when you see it, it brings a whole nother light to it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
why we have to execute our ideas. I don't want people to look at this time and just let time's a wasting. Like
Mm,
just wait. I don't want that. I really
Yeah,
want
right,
people to use this time to create, to heal. Sometimes you can't create at that moment. Maybe you need to heal. Do whatever
right.
it is you need to do, but make sure that it's productive so that when we come out of this thing, because I speak of life, when we come out of this thing, we come out stronger, we come out bigger, we come out taller, we come out a whole
That
bunch of just
that
a
was
lot of
my
things.
main that was my main thing when COVID started. I mean, let me tell you, not for nothing,
So many
child support.
comments.
Like I'm gonna be so gutter
Oh,
and
you're
so
transparent.
open,
That's
transparent with
right.
you, with y'all. You know, I'll be honest. I ain't never been on the live with 129 people.
New
So I'm gonna
York
speak.
City.
So
Look,
I'm gonna speak to
here
y'all.
we go. New York
So
City, bro.
when COVID started, I'll be straight up. Child support, they was getting at me. My daughter's mother tried to put me in jail for child
Oh,
support.
yeah.
Like I said, I had to move out of for reasons, that crazy reasons, but I had to up and move out of my father's house. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, all right, you know what?
She said she
What
listening.
I'm gonna do? Now
Mm-hmm.
now COVID started, and you know everybody was like, all right, I ain't had no money, no job, nothing. Everything was going out. Unemployed. What I first did was I started doing. I buckled down and I started delivering Uber Eats. I started doing delivering Uber Eats. At the beginning, I was making $1,100 a week delivering Uber Eats. Now this is your boy that's been all over the world
Right.
choreographing for artists and doing all that stuff. Now all of a sudden I'm delivering Uber Eats in a Mercedes. I'm delivering in a Mercedes. Okay, fine. I'm doing that for a couple of weeks. Unemployment, you know, they was going back and forth, and then all of a sudden unemployment hit. You know what I'm saying? I got the one little check, you know, with the 600 and the unemployment. You know, it's about $800 or whatever it may be. Then all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden they hit me with the back pay, the retro. I was like, oh, okay, all right, that's what's up. So instead of, you know what I'm saying, taking that money and throwing it and, you know, getting rims and getting sneakers and getting me some Louis, nah,
Uh-huh.
I paid off, I paid my credit off, and I went and purchased this bus. I paid 2,200 for the bus. I searched and searched and
My
searched.
eyes
There's
have been
people.
red the whole time we've been on this phone.
No, you don't understand. This right here is real.
No,
I
that's real life.
I dropped at that time. I dropped 2,200. I searched and searched and searched and searched, and everybody was like, you know, they wanted 5,000 for a bus. They wanted, you know, I searched and I found the bus for 2,250, way out in Long Island, and I'm living in Long Island right now, and I still had to drive another hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes out, you know, further out. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I went and got the bus, and then okay, now I got the bus. What am I gonna do? I tried to find somebody to do the bus for me. They wanted to charge me another 6 grand to do the bus for me. So I was like, you know what? I'm doing it myself. I went on YouTube. I found out how to do stuff. I found out how to do walls, install lights, install flooring. I found out
Yeah.
how to do all that stuff. Yo, I was
You
straight Bob the Builder.
You could do everything. You can find out anything you need to do on YouTube. Like there's a
Oh yeah,
video for absolutely everything.
yes.
I admire so much your perseverance because I feel like I've had to do that since the entire time that I've been here. Persevere. I
Hmm.
mean, I left an abusive relationship to move to the East Coast only to not really know many of anybody and then have my kids and only to get into another relationship right after getting out of one and
Uh
then
huh.
realizing not even realizing the importance of healing, taking time for myself and all of that. And then when that came to an end, found myself having to move in with someone, losing literally my whole entire what it looked like was my life. I mean, I had a home and a car and a job or whatever when I was in Ohio, but I literally
Right.
found myself losing everything because I was willing to do that to get something better. And
Uh
I
huh.
just you just don't let it get you down. Like when you faced with
No.
something, you got to figure out, okay, you got to put a plan in motion. You could have just folded and been like, dang, all right, I'm just going to sit here and try to wait on this unemployment, or I'm going to like execute this idea that God just gave me. You had a choice.
You
We
know,
all have a
right.
choice.
I heard something the other day. Adversity never kills the seed. Adversity never kills the seed because
Absolutely, it doesn't.
adversity is always going to come. But the seed is always, a seed is always planted to do one thing, and that's to grow.
Hmm.
Period.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Adversity, what does it do? It also introduces a man to himself. That is
Yes.
a beautiful thing. Like this time during, being quarantined for however long I've been quarantined, I definitely got a time to reflect.
Uh-huh.
I always say that I've gotten to look at things that maybe I wasn't really paying much attention to, whether that be myself, whether that be my family, because sometimes I get so caught up in this business thing that I'm losing the people that really need me the most.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? My loved ones that really need me the most, because I'm so after. I don't even know if it's even the pot of gold at this point. It's
Uh-huh.
something. I found myself chasing it, and eventually, I hit a dead end, and that was because I wasn't really. I think because I was just making bad choices and really wasn't paying attention. And now that I'm
Yeah, we
learning the
all make bad
lessons,
choices.
yeah, now that I'm learning the lessons, I'm so much better. Like I'm not working 22 hours of the 24. I was really working a lot. I mean, people think like the music entertainment thing is like a real easy thing. It absolutely isn't. I took a lot of risks. I used to get on the train and go to the city by myself in the middle of the night and go and meet with DJs and shake hands and say, hey, this is who I'm working for. Who are you? Da, 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 da. Went through all of that because I wanted something so bad. Because I'm like, man, if I made it this far, I can't go back. I'm out the
Uh-huh.
relationship, right? No one, I'm
Right.
not in no danger at this point. So now it's only time to go up. Now here we are over 10 years later, because now Chantel is graduated from college and Anthony is going into high school.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Yeah, he's a ninth grader.
He's not
Yeah.
going into high school.
Yes, he is. Like that, like time waits for no one. Like I listen to that song all the time because it just reminds me that I just don't want to waste any time. I want to be very mindful of how I'm spending my time. I want to start my day with intent.
Uh-huh.
These conversations for me have been, I didn't know that it was going to turn into what it has turned into. It was an idea. I
Uh-huh.
found myself, all my events was canceled. I was getting ready to travel the world for the next year. I mean, I had
Yeah.
some stuff booked and it all got canceled. And it said, well, what can you do? And I'm thinking like, oh, how cool that would be to like come going to live, because I never really go live like that, and
Right.
talk to my friend, bring my friends on, have some conversations, see how they're doing during this time. A lot,
Mm-hmm.
mostly everybody that I've talked to is creating during this time. Like they're really
Right.
taking this time to create. I did take some time away. I think I took maybe a week off of social media and stepped back a little bit, but then after that, I just been kind of just going. But
Uh-huh.
this has been a good time for me. I've created a lot. I just completed contributing to a number one habit entrepreneurial success book. So that's really cool. That'll be coming out soon.
Right.
And I have some more amazing guests that's coming. I'm going to be doing this until the
I
end of
see.
December. Yeah.
I see.
It has been so much fun. Like, I love to talk. Like, I'll talk all night.
Yes,
So
you do.
So can you believe, like, I get to have conversations with like people from all different types of backgrounds, all different
Well, I
kinds of
mean,
all of that.
I mean, and I'm just gonna speak it out there. It's no reason why you get on, like you end up on TV shows.
Because
Wow.
I love to talk.
And so my point is it's no reason for you not to have a TV show.
Yeah,
It's
that's
no
pretty
reason.
cool. That's pretty
All,
cool.
all you got to do, you know what I'm saying? All you got to do is, get some cameras, get a studio, and you already have the guests that people want to hear from. So I
Yeah.
mean, and it don't even have to be. Yeah, you've been to Wendy Williams show, right? Yeah,
Oh, a couple times, yeah.
yeah. Her studio ain't big.
No, it's not a big one at all. See, but that's the
No,
cool thing is that you take what you have. Sometimes
right,
people are so worried about all the studio stuff and all that that they never get off the bench, they never get out the chair, they never
right.
get started. And so for me, I'm here, I'm at home. I love being at home. I absolutely love being at home and I love speaking. So why not have, put my love right in the home? This is what I have for right now. So who
Yeah,
knows where this may go?
I'm telling you where it's gonna go. You
You
gonna
know,
you,
we'll
you need
see,
to
right, guys?
a TV show.
Let me see some hearts. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. Love is the frequency. Like love is the frequency that keeps me going, that keeps me feeling young, that keeps me wanting to keep moving forward, even sometimes when I'm in pain, because I feel like, losing my grandmother. My grandmother was the one that raised me.
Uh-huh.
I didn't ever think that I would get through that. I didn't think she even sometimes questioning like, man, when I leave here, I don't know, like how you going to react to it. But I actually gained a lot of strength from it. And it's actually
Yeah,
keeping me moving and keeping me moving forward because I feel like what would I be giving up on something that she worked so hard for, picking
right,
cotton and all of those things that she had to
right.
do for me to have this opportunity and fold and be like,
And that was the same energy, the same thought that I had when I got this bus, because my dad, like I said, my dad bought me my first set of clippers, and I've been cutting hair since I was 15. So what am I gonna do? Stop cutting hair? No. I created this bus and I named the bus after him. The bus is called Buster. His nickname was Buster, so it's
uh-huh.
Buster's Barber Bus. Triple B's.
That is so beautiful. I was trying to think of something that I can put with my grandmother's name on it for sure. When I come out, I'm going to release a single project that I just finished. I finished 2 books since I've been on this
Wow.
quarantine. But I'm not going to put it out until January, God willing. And even if I'm not
Uh-huh.
here, it's still going to go out
Okay.
because it's done. I want people to write that book that they may have been thinking about writing, start that podcast that they want to start.
Hmm.
Um, I see a lot more families outside together riding bikes and walking. I haven't seen that in a
A
long,
long
long
time. A long time.
before social media.
Right. I mean, the kid was just riding around before all this rain started coming. But the kid was just riding around on his bike with his dad, and I was like, wow. I remember when I used to do that with my dad, and
I,
and my mom.
I think we need to take a step back and just be grateful and look ahead at what we have right now, right? I've been homeless. Like, because sometimes people get that whole TV and all of the glitz and glamour stuff mixed up with real life. Like,
Yeah.
I've really had some problems. Like, Wendy went through some stuff because I didn't want to go back home. And
Hmm.
I wanted to see what would happen if I stayed. Like, what could happen if I actually stay here and go through it? I
Right.
want people to know that it doesn't matter what your circumstances look like now. It doesn't matter what your background look like. That doesn't have anything to absolutely do with nothing. Your
Uh-huh.
belief system is everything. Like I
Yep.
believe, I
Your
believe that
BS.
I'm amazing. I do. I really believe that I'm amazing. I really believe that I can like help somebody else. I believe that I can do something different than where I've come from. I
Right.
really appreciate these conversations. Like these conversations is so inspiring and motivating because none of them are the same.
Right. Right.
You
Well,
know,
that's what it is. You're doing it because you enjoy doing it. It's not a
mhm.
task for you. You would do this whether the camera was on or off.
Oh, I would definitely do this if the camera was off. Like when I look back on childhood, I was the one, with the record playing, listen to
Uh
Aretha Franklin singing in front of my
huh.
grandmother. Like I had a whole audience and it was just her there. And then when
Right.
I get
Right.
to college, I did the speaking skills contest and stuff because I just wanted to be in front of the audience and I wanted to be heard because when I was in high school, they treated me bad. Like I mean, like I was bullied, uh, threatened to get beat up, all of this
Uh,
stuff, just because I always was comfortable with being me and being who
being
I
you.
was. You know what I mean? Like even putting this little bit of makeup on, I'm in the mirror, like I don't want this on. Like why am
Uh,
I doing this? But somehow I've been trained to think that if I put the makeup on, it enhances my beauty, which I don't believe that, because I went to Oscar weekend with minimum makeup.
uh,
And I felt so good because I was like, I am here at the red carpet and I'm
yeah,
being myself. And I want
right.
to put that message out. Choose your path, mean choose what's good for what's for you, what's meant for you. You're gonna be exhausted if you try to be like anybody else other than yourself. You want to try to
And
look like somebody else.
I've gotten exhausted, you know, just you know, trying to go on that path, and then I was like, nope, what are you doing? Nope, come back.
Right.
You're not a thug. Stop.
That is not your lane.
Right, that's not my lane. It doesn't make me a punk, but hey, you're not a thug.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Miriam. Oh my
you don't
goodness. I
carry
love you
guns.
too. Look, New York City. We got a lot of New York City people in here. Hey, wow, you brought them out. I was like, New York City choreographer. Who have been some of your biggest influences? Let me see how much time we got.
We got like 10 minutes or so, something like that.
Oh, yeah, we got time. So tell me some of the people who have influenced you on
Um,
your journey.
well, for one, you know, I mean, as far as dancing is concerned, you know, my whole crew when when I was coming up, you know, my crew, Quiet Storm, you know, those guys, they really influenced me. But you know, as far as people that celebrities and stuff like that, the Nicholas brothers, they influenced me. Crazy Legs, Mr. Wiggles from Rocksteady crew. Um, I'll be honest, all the dancers in Beat Street, you know, and you know, I know everybody remember those old films. You know, those are the people that influenced me. Of course, Michael Jackson, James Brown. You know, I would watch Soul Train. Soul
Soul
Train
Train.
influenced me so much.
Anthony was
You
just
know,
asking about, he was like, Mom, who is Don Cornelius? I was like, oh my God, he's asking about him.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
oh yes, tell me all about it.
yeah. Soul Train
Let's talk
dancers
about
influenced
Soul
me.
Train for a minute. Take us back. Oh, that's so
Yeah, I mean,
beautiful.
you know, every Saturday morning you had every Saturday morning. What was it, about 12 o'clock, 11, something like that. You know, you had to turn to channel 11 and catch Soul Train. For you had to catch the dance moves. You had to catch what artist was on there that day. You know, but me, I was watching what the dancers was doing. I was always waiting for the famous Soul Train line. That was what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And, I always got my fix on that all the time, and I literally used to, at the beginning, when I started dancing, I used to copy
Oh,
every last
I
thing
got
to
the
the
fan
step
on.
of what they were doing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then after copying what they were doing, then I would begin to turn it into my own. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
yes.
yeah.
My memories was the Scrabble board.
Uh,
I I couldn't wait till that part come up so I could see what the word, if I got it right, because it would always go to like a commercial or whatever, and then we'll be back, and then they'll come with the word, and then people will
right,
start
right.
dancing or whatever. Those were the days,
Uh-huh.
because those were the times that I spent sitting at the TV and watching that. I love Sanford and Son. I still watch that right now to this day because it's on Prime.
Oh, and then you had to watch a karate flick.
And then yes, you have to watch that. And we also watch Western. I watched a lot of Western movies too.
Yeah, my dad was into westerns.
He was in Western. You wasn't into
Yeah, he
it?
was. No, I wasn't into
Oh,
westerns.
I was into it. I love to watch them get on that horse,
Yo,
and then
Steve, what up? I see you, Steve.
they pull out those guns and they ready for war. Like I love, yeah, and the black and white movies. I love the black and white
Uh,
movies, and I think that that's what got me into um just loving Broadway. Like, I love Broadway. I don't know
Yeah.
how many playbills I have. I have a lot of them because I just love to sit there and be an audience as the characters on the stage. Like all of these people, all of these amazing human beings bring these characters to life. And then you have the live music and the bright lights, and they're telling a story, whether it could be non-speaking. They could be just moving their body in motion,
Hmm.
and they're telling the entire story. I think theater is so beautiful and so important, and I'm so sad that we're in these
That is
times
so,
right
yeah.
now, because you
I've
don't get the
done a couple
same
of off
thing. I
Broadway
mean, I
shows
can watch, what was it, Hamilton, right? I have not got a Hamilton ticket yet, right? But now they have it
on Disney
on.
Plus. I
I'm
just
not.
saw it on Disney Plus.
You watched it?
Yeah, it's
I heard
amazing.
it was. I heard it was still good,
Yeah,
so maybe I'll go ahead and watch it. But see, I'm more of a in theater, like.
yeah, you got to be there. I definitely think even now with me watching it, on Disney Plus, I
Uh
definitely think that I think now I need to you know go and actually try to find a ticket because tickets for Hamilton are ridiculous.
No,
You
I
know,
remember. I think I don't even remember what the price was, but it was a lot. It was like thousands of dollars, right?
wow. Well,
And
hey,
then it went down. I think you could probably get them for maybe 1,000, and then maybe 700 or something like that. But I'm not really a person that sits in the back of the theater. If I'm coming for the
I
experience,
was just about to say that you ain't gonna sit in the back. You want
I'm
to sit
not
in the front
going.
row.
Yeah, I'm not going. I'm just not going. It's not happening. Like, I'm coming. I live my life for experience.
Right,
Speaking
right.
of experience,
Yeah.
I always love to share this story. So after I got out of intensive care, I'm going to
Uh
pass
huh.
by that story.
Hmm.
During that time, during recovery, me and my son, we go river tubing. I
Uh huh.
wasn't really thinking, because I'm a little hyper. So I wasn't really
A
thinking,
little.
just a little. The tube, right? I'm thinking we're getting into the pool. That's what I'm thinking. Like,
Uh huh.
we're going to go out. It's going to be like a pool. I'm still not thinking like a river, like a real rushing river. So we
Right.
did it. We go out there, and it was the most beautiful experience ever. Like, I've
Yeah.
been whitewater rafting.
Uh huh.
Have you been whitewater rafting?
I
You
haven't
tried
been
it?
whitewater rafting. I have been tubing. I did when I went to DR. I did the waterfalls where you're jumping off cliffs and all that other
Uh-huh.
stuff. I can swim a
You
little
did,
bit,
you did the
but
jumping off the cliff?
yeah, I jumped off a cliff.
How was
Woo!
it?
My knees were shaking. But mind you, after I did it, it was like it was a liberating thing. Like, yo, I could jump off a cliff now. It was crazy.
No, at least you were honest. Sometimes when I listen to Will Smith, I listen to it over and over and over again when he talk about when he went skydiving, and he was like, it was the most blissful thing. Like, once he jumped, but everybody I've talked to that has done it has said the same thing. Like, it
Uh huh.
was like a really bliss experience, and I'm like, man, I wish I could do it, but now since my heart has stopped,
Uh
the
huh.
doctors really don't want me jumping out of a plane, I
Oh no, no,
guess.
we don't need you doing that. We
Oh, but
don't need
back
you
to the
doing that.
river tubing. So we get in the tube, we're going, right? And
Uh huh.
we end up in a swamp. The swamp, it was like the river split. It was like going this way, left, and then on the right, Anthony ends up in the swamp. The river pushes him over, And he's a great swimmer. Like, Anthony is an average swimmer. He swims better than me. So I'm telling
Okay.
him, like, hey, dude, like, come over. Like, just come over. I'm right here. And he's like, no, no, I'm scared. I don't want to. Because he got a bug phobia. And the bugs were
Uh huh.
like this thick. And there is the swamp and then the quicksand. It was crazy. So I'm like, oh my God. So because he didn't want to come over, we ended up having to climb up the mountain. So I'm up the mountain and I'm like, well, you know that if you only got one step and if you take that one step, you're out of there. So now just keep looking forward because I'm mad that we gotta like climb up the mountain. We get up to the top of the mountain. Literally, like if he would have moved his foot one way, that was it. So he made it so much harder. And I always tell that story because sometimes we do that in life. Like
Right.
everything is going good. And soon as we hit that swamp part, we're ready to like, we don't even want to even try to swim over. Right? It's right there. Like the
Yeah.
coffee is right here. All I got to do is drink it. but I
Right,
don't
right.
want to even take the muscle to lift it up to put it into my mouth. That's what people do in life. Like I'm like, he made it so much harder. We had to climb all the way up this mountain. We had already been out in the river like almost 4 hours already. We was almost
Wow.
there. We was almost at the end. I wanted to see what it felt like at the end, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
I'm not a person to start something and not finish it. I
and
was a
not finish it.
I was a track star. I did cross country. I wasn't fast. I like to take my time with things. Sometimes, some things
Long
I
distance
like to
runner.
take the time, long distance, right? And I love that. I love that feeling of finishing. So when I look at your mobile, I'm like, oh my God, that was I. You painted the picture for me, but to actually see it,
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
that. Congratulations.
yeah. Thank you. I mean, I did every, like I said, I did everything. I put a I put a solar panel on top. I ran all the wires. I installed all the electricity for my clippers and everything. I mean, right over there in the corner, I got a bunch of electric stuff in there, and I did all that. The walls that you see, I did everything,
Like,
and
yeah, it's so beautiful.
I'm so proud of myself that I finished, that I actually finished. Because at the end, it was getting really hard. It was getting really difficult, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm almost there. I'm
Almost
almost there,
there.
and
We got
I had to
one minute.
power through. Yeah, okay. What we
Okay, so
gonna
we
do?
got 1 minute. Um, leave us with a word.
A word. Um,
40
never,
seconds.
never let anything disturb you from reaching your goal. That's where we're gonna go. Never
That's
let
the
anything
word.
disturb you from reaching your goal. All right. Always power through. Always finish what you started. It's gonna be hard. Like I said before, adversity is gonna come,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
you got to get through that. Keep going, and you will.
Thank you so much, Excel. So we can find you, of course, on Instagram. I'm sure your profile will be, when I
Yes, you can.
repost this.
My regular Instagram. I'm Instagram that dancing cat.
Hmm.
My
I'm just
my
gonna
my
cut you off.
bus Instagram, bus is barber bus, and